Good morning. Some of you have asked me how we do a double binding. Now, this morning I'm going to try and show you how we do those. So what you need to do is you don't have to cut them on the bias unless your quilt has got a biased, a rounded edge. But if your quilt has got straight edges like this one does, over here, you can just cut straight strips. So what we're going to need is from your color that's doing the actual binding, in other words, going around the back to the front, which we are going to do in pink, you do that in strips of 1.5 inches. The strip that you want to just show, this is the front of this quilt. So we want the pink to go, let me pull this out. We want the pink to come around the corner here, and the grey must just show a little bit sticking out underneath the pink over here. So the one that you want to stick out is 1 3/4. So you cut strips enough to go around your quilt, 1 3/4 for the inside, and for the outside 1.5, also to go around your quilt. This morning it's Willem's hands doing the work because mine is out of commission for the moment with a broken arm. So he's putting them together at a 45-degree angle, as you can see there. All the strips. We do the pink ones together, and then he's going to take the grey ones and do those ones together. There's the 45 that we have now done on the machine. Now he's going to cut off the excess on both ends and then cut along 1/4 inch away from the seam line. Just open it so that they can see what it looks like. There we are. And now we're going to press them to one side. Once you've made both strips, there's the pink one, and here below the pink is the grey. You're going to just iron them all to the one side where you've now done your trimming on the 45-degree angles to put them together. Now we need to attach these two to each other. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep the grey with the right side up. We're going to turn the pink one wrong side up, so the right sides are together. Put them on top of each other, and with your 1/4 inch foot, you're going to, let me just zoom into there. With your 1/4 inch foot, you're now going to stitch a 1/4 inch seam down the one long side, stitching these two together. You'll see now that your greys, the one that you're doing the inside binding with, is sticking out below your other one. So now we've put the two pieces together, and Willem is just sealing the seam. Once the seam is sealed, he's going to open it up there, and he is letting the seam allowance to the side that's going to be the binding around the quilt. You're letting your seams lie, all the bulk of the fabric lies to the shorter fabric of the two. Once pressed, I'll get around this way. Sorry, it looks like that. So he's now going to finish pressing, and then we'll do step 9. So once you've done all the ironing and it's all open and nice and flat, you're going to fold this double with the two raw edges meeting each other. Just turn it over so that they can see. Oh, there we are. On the one side you'll have this little, just turn it over. On the one side you'll have this little bit of grey sticking out, and on the other side it will be all grey. The raw edges together, and now we're going to iron that flat. Once you've ironed all of this, then it's time to put it together. So what Willem is doing, he's putting the right side that goes to the front is against the back of the quilt. Now he's going to, and he started off a little bit, about 15 to 20 centimeters or 6 to 8 inches away from the edge. And he's starting to pin. He doesn't start right there at the beginning. He starts sort of here, about 10 centimeters away from there. So that's from about 6 inches from the edge, and then another 6 inches in, and then he's going to start stitching from there. Secure the stitches by stitching, doing a back stitch, 1/4 inch seam again, Right, when you approach a corner, keep on stitching until you're a 1/4 inch away from the edge of the corner. Like there. You stop a 1/4 of an inch away from the edge of your fabric. Okay, do the fold. Then you're going to fold it up and down. To create, just show them, open up the flap, just show them lift it, so that you create a 45-degree angle on your flap. Now you're going to start a 1/4 inch away from the edge there and sew down. You do this with all 4 corners. He's doing a back stitch to secure all of that. If that comes out on the other side, we'll just show you what it looks like. Okay, just lift it here so that we can see. So you've got your 45-degree angle there, and we'll show you how we're going to fold it over when we get to that. Now that we have done the binding and stitched it a 1/4 inch around, as you can see there, Willem has gotten, this is where he started. He started over there, right? But this is the piece that we left open. As you can see, this is, you can pick this up. And then he came around the corner here. There's the corner. Came around the corner and he stopped there, about 1 inch away from the raw edge there. So what he's now going to do, in the middle of these two, with a piece that's still not attached to the quilt, he's now just putting a pin through the back side of the binding. And now he's going to take out this pin and stretch it about less than 2 millimeters in this direction, so that you can see that it makes a bit of a what would we call it? Wobble at the back there. Then this one he's going to lay over the top, go to the yellow pin where he's put the pin through the back, and he's now going to pin the two of them there together, but also just from the outside edge. Can you see? There we are. Right, so now out comes this pin. He's going to pick up this, because we know now where that edge is, those 2 edges is. He's opening up the seam that he has pressed. He's bringing this one, opening that up, putting them at a 45-degree angle, a 90-degree angle to each other.
The fold and the pins.
The fold and the pin is now together on the one side, like so. He's going to pin that down.
The same on this side.
Exactly, do the same on the opposite end. Take it to the machine. And he's going to do a 45-degree angle corner to corner from the inside corner of that one. Sorry, you can't see that properly. From the inside corner of that, he's going to do a straight stitch across to the opposite corner. Stitching at this point with a normal foot. You can do this with your 45-degree, 1/4 inch foot. I'm getting confused with the 45-degree angle. So once that's done, out comes this under the machine. Cut off all the edges, and now he's going to trim this away. Making a snip and then following the 45-degree angle seam line that he's made, he's cutting away to a 1/4 inch over there, and then cut that straight off. So that's off, and if you open it up, you've got a perfect 45-degree angle. which it is now going to stitch down, that you can go and press back again. In our case, we're just folding it back. Is going to pin it, and then going to stitch down that piece of the binding that is not yet stitched onto the back of the quilt. Stitching the last bit of this binding down, pulling the quilt on the outside. Remember, we made a little wobble on it to ease it in. Now he's stretching it so that it can all fit and lie flat once we now turn it over to the right side. So there is the seam that was lapped over each other at a 45-degree angle. Just turn it up so that we can see the other side, and there it's been stitched down onto the quilt. Now we change back the feet to a normal number 1 foot, and we're going to show you how to do the corners. In this way, we're also now going to stitch down the binding to the front of the quilt. So we turn this over the raw edge. We're now onto the front of the quilt, and we're going to see it's going to stitch in the ditch where the grey and the pink fabric join. Where that join is situated, he's going to stitch in the ditch on that grey, on the grey basically. But the stitches will disappear because of it being where the seam line is situated. Right, as we approach the corner, you're going to press flat your bias binding to create that 45-degree angle on the outside edge. He's going to keep on stitching
up to a quarter.
Up to a 1/4 inch from the edge of your quilt. It's going backwards to get it to the right place. Now he's turning the other edge in. He's backtracked a little bit further back so that he can get to that, and he's gently easing the corner that he's folded back over under the foot until you get to the edge of the grey. And now with the needle in the down position, he's going to turn the quilt 90 degrees. There we are. And we continue stitching in the ditch where the two seam lines meet. As it comes out the back, I'll show you what the corner looks like. You've created a perfect flat 45-degree angle there, which you now can either stitch down by hand, that little seam line there, or you can just leave it as is. You do that with all 4 corners. So that can be stitched down, and then also if you turn this over, there's the back of it lying flat with a 45-degree angle. There we've got the binding, and there is the 45-degree angle on the corner, and we'll show you on the back side. If you did it in the ditch, all the stitching will be on the binding. So if you use a color like the grey that we have done here, it sort of disappears. If you've done it really well, it could have gone into the ditch on this side as well, but it's basically disappearing, and it doesn't create an extra line on your backing fabric, so to speak, but it does create a very nice edge.